All right, so you see the final score. Chelsea 3, Wolves 0. Looks pretty straightforward, right? A dominant win. But honestly, that scoreline, it doesn't even begin to tell the whole story. The real drama was in the first half, this tactical chess match, and then the one spark that just blew the whole thing wide open. So let's get into it. How did Chelsea turn total frustration into a massive statement win?
Yeah, this is where it all started. Halftime hits, 45 minutes in, and nothing. A total stalemate, 0-0. So, that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth does a game like that turn into a 3-0 blowout? I mean, how did Chelsea go from hitting a brick wall to scoring 3 goals just like that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. First, we'll set the scene. Then we'll look at what I'm calling the first half wall that Chelsea just kept running into. After that, we'll get to the good part, the exact moment they unlocked the game. We'll break down the anatomy of the win, and then wrap it all up by looking at what this means for the league table. All right, first things first, let's set the stage. Because really, coming into this match, you couldn't have had two teams in more different places. So, on one hand, you've got Chelsea. They're flying, they're in great form, and they're seriously chasing the top of the table. And then you've got Wolves. They're struggling in a really tough period, and, get this, they don't even have a permanent manager. So, the expectations were pretty clear from the get-go. Okay, so everyone knew what was supposed to happen, but then the first half kicked off, and this is where we get to that first half wall. This is where all that expected dominance just ran into some serious defiance. I mean, just look at the numbers from that first half. It's wild. Chelsea had 72% of the ball. 72%. They were completely running the show, dictating absolutely everything. And yet, for all of that control, nothing. Absolutely no way through. Wolves just sat back in this super deep, super compact defensive shape. There was zero space. They basically built a wall, and Chelsea's attack was just left completely and utterly frustrated. So clearly, something had to give. And that brings us to the moment the entire match pivoted. Let's talk about unlocking the game, because this is how that breakthrough finally happened.
It's crazy how quickly a game of football can just flip. 1 minute, at halftime, it's a deadlocked 0-0 stalemate. Then, boom! Just 6 minutes into the second half, the whole game is turned on its head. That one goal, it changed everything.
And where did the goal come from? Of all people, it was Malo Gusto, a defender. He makes this incredible, surging run from deep to get on the end of a great ball from Alejandro Garnacho. It was just this one moment of pure individual inspiration, and that's all it took. The code was cracked.
And once that first goal went in, it was like the floodgates just opened. Chelsea took complete control. So let's get into the anatomy of the win and see exactly how they finished the job off.
Now the second goal, it was a beauty. You had the substitute, Estevan, would just come on. He gets on the ball, he finds João Pedro with this pinpoint pass, and João Pedro just hammers it home with a first-time strike. A rocket. 2-0, game over, really.
And hey, remember who set up that first all-important goal? The guy who unlocked the whole thing, Alejandro Garnacho? Well, he wasn't done yet, not by a long shot.
The third goal was just a textbook counterattack. Wolves had to push forward, right? They were desperate to get back in it, and they just left themselves wide open at the back. Chelsea were ruthless. They broke with lightning speed, and guess who played the final ball? Yep, Alejandro Garnacho again, with his second assist, teeing up Neto to tap it in. Clinical.
So there you have it, a 3-0 win, all thanks to a brilliant second half. But what does a result like this actually mean in the grand scheme of things? Let's talk about the impact this has on the league.
So let's just do a quick recap of the stats. A clean, decisive 3-0 win. The goals were spread around, Gusto, João Pedro, Neto all getting on the score sheet. But really, the story of the day on offense was Alejandro Garnacho. His 2 assists were the key that unlocked everything for Chelsea.
And the biggest takeaway from all of this, the thing that really matters, Chelsea jumps up to second in the Premier League. This was way more than just 3 points. This was a statement, a message to the rest of the league that they are right in the middle of this title race. And that leaves us with one big, fascinating question. When a team can show that kind of patience, to just keep knocking on the door, and then have the killer instinct to punish their opponent so brutally once they break through, is this it?
Is this the kind of win that really truly sparks a title challenge?